Life sometimes makes us feel as if we are participating in an unfair power race. Surely you have wondered why ruthless, selfish, and unethical people tend to rise to the top, while honest, virtuous people face countless difficulties. Why are actions that lack conscience, aimed solely at personal gain, considered successful, while responsible and ethical individuals are not adequately recognized? Think of the ruthless CEOs, ready to trample on others to dominate the market, or corrupt politicians who climb to power, exploiting the public's trust to enrich themselves. On the other hand, you might see people who always live rightly, who strive for the community and uphold their integrity, yet they struggle in life without receiving the recognition they deserve. This is the painful reality we face every day. Ethical individuals seem to be left behind, while the ruthless and unethical are granted power, wealth, and respect from society. You have probably asked yourself whether the good will truly prevail in the end, or if life is indeed an unfair power race. How can values such as honesty, compassion, and fairness rise in a society where power and success do not always align with ethics? And do these ruthless actions, which seem to win in modern society, truly lead to long-lasting happiness, or are they merely a temporary destination, empty and lacking emotional fulfillment? These questions are not easy to answer, but we cannot ignore them and need to reflect on them more deeply. If you are feeling overwhelmed in the power race, confused by the injustice and ruthlessness, consider this video as a sign from the universe for you. Let's begin this journey together to explore the true nature of power and the hidden principles behind this unjust life right now. Before delving into the answers to the dilemmas in our minds, we need to clarify, what is power? Arthur Schopenhauer, one of the great philosophers of the 19th century, is famous for his theories on human nature, suffering, and survival instincts. He is known for proposing a pessimistic view of life, arguing that human existence is mostly a series of suffering and unavoidable contradictions. Schopenhauer focused on the concept of will as a central driving force in life, and his theory has had a profound influence on philosophy, psychology, and literature. For him, the concept of power is not just a condition for achieving personal goals, but also a decisive factor in the existence of every individual in this competitive world. When talking about power, Schopenhauer believed that power is a principle of survival. Life is not a fair competition where everyone has an equal opportunity to succeed. In fact, life is a survival struggle where each individual must face challenges and conflicts to maintain existence. In this struggle, power becomes the determining factor for survival. It is not kindness or ethics, but power that is most important to protect and elevate one's position in society. For Schopenhauer, every person carries within them a strong will to live, an unconscious drive that propels them to act in order to survive. Humans do not live for moral ideals or justice, but because of a powerful will to maintain life. This will to live is not something we can easily control or choose. It is a deep force in human instincts that drives all of our actions. In this context, the will to live prioritizes survival, and therefore, it often overrides ideals of fairness or ethics. We can see that, in Schopenhauer's theory, power is not the result of kindness or compassion, but the consequence of the struggle to protect one's personal existence. Those who live by moral ideals may face difficulty in life because they must endure hesitation and moral considerations before acting. In contrast, those who are decisive and have no qualms about using any means to achieve their goals will quickly seize power because they act from survival instincts, prioritizing survival over everything else. If power originates from primal will and is the survival instinct of humans, it can be deduced that, for Schopenhauer, power is not in the realm of ethics. So, what impact does ethics have on human actions? In Schopenhauer's theory, the hesitation of ethical individuals plays a significant role in shaping their decisions. An ethical person often hesitates, carefully considering their actions because they are always thinking about the consequences of each choice. They question whether their actions are morally correct, whether they might harm others. While this is a positive attitude ethically, it has a major disadvantage in the harshly competitive environment of society. Surely you have heard stories in competitions where some people always take the time to think carefully before acting, while others act immediately without too much concern for ethics. It's as if, even in the race for a top position at your company, there may be one person who is always decisive, ready to take risks, regardless of whether those decisions might harm colleagues or impact the company. Meanwhile, another person, though capable, spends too much time thinking about the consequences of their decisions, refusing to act unless they are completely certain of its correctness. Ultimately, the one who acts decisively and without hesitation may quickly seize the opportunity and rise to a higher position. This hesitation, though stemming from good motives, causes ethical individuals to often miss important opportunities. They spend too much time weighing options, and while they hesitate, those opportunities may slip away. In a world where everything moves quickly and constantly changes, hesitation is not always a good thing. Ethical individuals, even with a strong sense of doing right, sometimes become slow in making decisions and taking action, which can leave them behind in the power race. On the other hand, those who act decisively and without hesitation usually have a superior advantage. They are ready to make decisions quickly without worrying too much about ethics or the consequences of their actions. While ethical individuals still hesitate, the ruthless, unconcerned with moral standards, quickly grab opportunities and act decisively to achieve their goals. This helps them climb up quickly in the power race. Those who act ruthlessly and without hesitation are often indifferent to whether their actions are morally right or wrong. They do not fear guilt or empathy for others. They only focus on achieving their own goals. This is why they can surpass others in a competitive environment. By acting decisively and not being hindered by hesitation, they easily seize opportunities and achieve success that ethical individuals often miss out on. In conclusion, in a world where power and success are not always aligned with ethics, decisiveness and quick action can help those who do not hesitate surpass ethical individuals who often miss opportunities due to their hesitation. To further prove that power is unrelated to ethics, Schopenhauer argued that power and survival were inherently created in nature. In nature, the law of survival is brutally applied. The strong survive. There is no place for hesitation or compassion. The existence of each organism depends on its ability to survive and its strength to cope with the surrounding environment. Schopenhauer claimed that in the natural world, the strong, not necessarily physically strong, but strong in their ability to adapt and act decisively, will always prevail, while hesitant or insufficiently strong creatures will be eliminated. Let's consider the animal world, where the life of a lion or a leopard depends on its ability to hunt quickly and accurately. When a lion targets its prey, it does not hesitate. It acts immediately, seizing every opportunity to strike and not allowing the prey any time to react. Every second of hesitation could cause it to miss the chance and fail to secure a meal. The prey, despite its strong vitality, will be caught if it hesitates or does not act decisively. The survival of the prey, in this case, does not depend on kindness or compassion, but on its ability to react swiftly and decisively to the threat. This is not only true in the animal world, but also applies to human society. Those who act quickly and seize opportunities without hesitation are more likely to succeed than those who think for too long or always worry about the ethical consequences of their actions. They understand that in a fierce survival race, hesitation is not an option. Quick and precise action is the deciding factor. Schopenhauer pointed out that in nature, there is no concept of fairness. Existence is not a competition where everyone has an equal chance of winning, but a survival struggle where each creature must protect itself from danger. The strong creatures, those who know how to seize opportunities without hesitation, will continue to live and thrive. Meanwhile, creatures that hesitate or lack the ability to adapt will not survive for long. So, what about the human world? A clear example we can see is in the leaders or successful investors in society. They are not necessarily the best, smartest, or most ethical, but those who know how to seize opportunities decisively. In urgent situations, when opportunities come quickly, successful leaders and investors are the ones who do not hesitate, ready to make firm decisions, even knowing there may be risks involved. They understand that in this competitive environment, time and opportunity cannot be wasted. Meanwhile, those who hesitate, despite their capabilities, let opportunities pass them by, and as a result, they cannot gain power or success. Thus, in both the natural world and human society, power and survival depend on the ability to act decisively and without hesitation. Those who know how to seize opportunities and act quickly will always have the advantage in the survival race, while those who hesitate will be left behind. This is true in nature, but as the world constantly changes, power may also transform accordingly. Schopenhauer, through his lens, identified various forms of power in modern society. Let's leave a comment below if any of these seem familiar to your everyday life. In modern society, power no longer depends solely on physical strength or the ability to survive in harsh natural conditions, as it did in the past. Instead, power in today's world is formed and maintained through sophisticated strategies and the ability to manipulate the factors in the social, economic, and political environment. Those who hold power in modern society understand how underground power systems operate, and they know how to use them to rise and maintain their position. A clear example of power in modern society is the CEOs of large corporations. These individuals not only possess wealth and economic power, but they also have a deep understanding of how to manipulate the market, competitors, and even public opinion to protect their interests. We can see many CEOs using smart strategies, sometimes including reducing product prices to dominate the market, or even employing media tactics to build the image of a hero in the eyes of the public. They do not necessarily need to be the most creative or the hardest working individuals, but they understand how to navigate power mechanisms and leverage them for the benefit of themselves and their companies. Similarly, in politics, ambitious politicians know how to exploit public trust to rise to positions of power. They are not merely individuals who work for ideals or the development of the community, but people who understand and know how to manipulate the hidden power structures within society. They often use strategies like forming alliances, manipulating public opinion, or skillfully implementing policies that benefit themselves or the interest groups they represent. These politicians do not succeed because they are doing what's right, but because they understand the game of power. They grasp how relationships and power mechanisms work and use them to achieve their goals. Imagine a venture capitalist trying to take over a startup. This investor doesn't necessarily have to be the best in technology or have groundbreaking ideas, but they know how to leverage information, work with strategic partners, and create favorable deals to dominate the market. They understand that in this power game, it's not just about creative talent, but also about building long-term strategies and relationships that benefit them. Similarly, in politics, the tactics of persuading the public through media or image can play a more crucial role than simply implementing good policies. A politician who knows how to manipulate their image and garner public support can maintain power longer than a politician who makes sound decisions but lacks the backing of the community. In conclusion, in modern society, power does not solely come from strength or survival ability, but also from the ability to understand and apply sophisticated strategies in areas like business and politics. Those who hold power are not necessarily the ones who always do the right thing, but rather the ones who understand the game of power, know how to manipulate social mechanisms, and achieve their goals. In today's competitive world, understanding underground power and being able to adapt to the environment can be the deciding factor for success. In his philosophy, Schopenhauer points out that ethical values such as fairness, honesty, and compassion often directly conflict with human survival instincts. While these ethical values are noble and worthy of respect, They cause people to hesitate and think carefully before acting. However, in a fiercely competitive society, this hesitation often causes those who live by ethical ideals to miss crucial opportunities for success. According to Schopenhauer, life is not a fair game, but a survival struggle where power and success belong only to those who are not bound by ethical principles. Ethics, while it may bring spiritual satisfaction and self-respect, causes people to hesitate, worry about the consequences, and consider the impact on others. This hesitation, therefore, diminishes the ability to seize opportunities and achieve success in a world where speed and decisiveness are crucial. Imagine in a recruitment competition, an applicant may have all the qualities necessary to succeed in the job, but they refuse to exploit personal relationships with the interviewer to gain an advantage. They refuse to act dishonestly, even though they know that doing so would increase their chances of being hired. Meanwhile, another applicant, unhesitant to use dishonest tactics, may easily seize the opportunity. The one who lives by ethical ideals will miss the chance due to their hesitation, while the one who acts ruthlessly will quickly achieve their goal. In contrast, those who are ruthless and decisive act quickly to take advantage. They are not influenced by guilt or empathy for others. These individuals may not always have exceptional talent or high morals, but they know how to exploit opportunities that others overlook, as they are not bound by ethical principles or overthinking the consequences. This makes them decisive individuals, always ready to act without worrying about ethical issues. In the business environment, CEOs or investors sometimes have to make decisions that, from an ethical standpoint, could harm employees or customers. However, while ethical individuals will carefully consider and worry about the consequences of their decision, ruthless individuals will quickly make a decision and reap the benefits for themselves. They are not driven by guilt or responsibility toward others. They only focus on winning and gaining power. Schopenhauer argues that ethics and hesitation directly contradict survival instincts and power in society. Those who live by ethical ideals often cannot win in the struggle for survival because they are governed by moral principles, causing them to miss opportunities. In contrast, those who are ruthless and act decisively, unburdened by guilt or empathy, have a much greater chance of success in this cutthroat world. Ultimately, when discussing power and its destination, Schopenhauer acknowledges that success is not a reward for ethics. In the fiercely competitive world of modern society, Schopenhauer asserts that true success is not a reward for honesty, kindness, or moral actions. On the contrary, success and power often belong to those who are decisive, unafraid to seize opportunities, and use sharp strategies to achieve their goals. In this context, ethics is not the determining factor for rising up, but rather decisiveness and effective strategy are the key elements in seizing power. In modern society, successful people are not necessarily those who are the most honest or the most ethical. Instead, success comes to those who can make decisions firmly, quickly seize opportunities when they arise, and are not afraid to use sharp strategies to overcome competitors. These individuals do not hesitate or overthink the consequences of their actions, but focus solely on how to achieve their ultimate goal. This explains why many can achieve power and success without following ethical norms or rules of fairness. Look at the business world, where large corporations are always looking to expand markets and dominate industries. A CEO may quickly make strategic decisions, such as company mergers, acquisitions of competitors, or even changing business strategies to maximize profits, even if these decisions may harm certain groups or partners. However, their decisiveness and ability to quickly implement these strategies help them gain power and an advantage in the market. This CEO does not achieve success through kindness or fairness, but through their ability to foresee opportunities and act decisively. A sad reality that Schopenhauer points out is that ethics and power rarely go hand in hand in the modern world. To succeed in the power race, you need to separate ethics from strategy. If you try to adhere to every ethical principle in the process of gaining power, you may lose your competitive advantage. Ethics, though important for maintaining respect and trust from others, can sometimes slow you down, make you hesitate, and make you vulnerable to being overtaken by ruthless competitors. In politics, those who can manipulate public opinion, build relationships, and form strategic alliances may succeed, even if they do not always act ethically. A politician may exploit difficult situations to consolidate their power, even when those actions are not entirely upright. They know how to trade personal benefits for strategic relationships, while those with ethics may not dare to deceive or use shady strategies. As a result, the ruthless who use every strategy to achieve their goals are more likely to maintain power for a longer time. We must recognize that in a society where power is seen as the ultimate value, success is not a reward for ethical people. To achieve power and success, you need to know how to separate ethics from your strategy, and sometimes this may clash with the ethical values we hold dear. Power and decisiveness are the deciding factors in this race, not kindness or fairness. Ruthlessness can be an evolutionary advantage. Schopenhauer argues that ruthless individuals are not evil, but those who understand the nature of power and strength. They are not hindered by feelings of guilt or empathy. These people act decisively and always seize every opportunity to rise. Therefore, they win in the power race. Life is an unfair game. The strong, decisive, and ruthless will always win, while the hesitant will be left behind. However, this life can bring inner emptiness and tension. Those who build their lives on power and manipulation will feel stressed, lacking true connection. Power may bring control, but it does not bring inner peace. True strength does not come from dominating others, but from the ability to control oneself and no longer seek validation from others. The truly strong do not need to prove themselves. They have found their inner strength. Life may be full of injustice, but we can find true strength from within. It is self-control and inner peace that are the true victories in the power race. What about you? Do you agree with Schopenhauer's views? If so, leave a O in the comments and an X if you disagree. Finally, if you found this video helpful and want to continue exploring profound topics about life, power, and human psychology, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons so you won't miss the next video. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.